Okay, students, welcome back to the lecture series, and we have started with chapter number 5, that is Introduction to Web Service. Introduction to Web Services. The next point that today we are going with is web service characteristics. Okay, so first one we have, that is loosely coupled. Loosely coupled refers that the client and the web services are not and the web services are not bound to each other, which means that if the web service changes eventually, it should not alter the way the client describes the web services. Adopting a loosely joined architecture tends to build software system more convenient and allow more straightforward integration among diverse systems. Able to support remote procedure calls. Web services allow client to raise procedures, functions and techniques on remote object using a XML based system. Remote method pictures input output parameters that a web service must hold. So first characteristics we have, that is loosely coupled, and second one is able to support remote procedure calls. Third one we have, that is supports document exchange. One of the input benefit of XML is its general way of representing data and multi-faceted documents. These documents can be easy as representing a permanent address or can be as compound as representing a whole book. Next one we have XML based. Web services utilizes XML to symbolize the data at the symbol and data moving layers. Using XML eliminates any networking, operating system or stage sort of dependency, since XML is the common language unspoken by all. Next topic we have, that is core building block of web services. The web service description language, that is WSDL, and universal description discovery and integration, that is UDDI, along with SOAP. SOAP is Simple Object Access Protocol. From the essential building blocks for web services, each one taken separately serves its own particular purpose, but taken together they provide the foundation for the just-in-time. WSDL as the empires strike back to web services. SOAP forms the foundation of UDDI, will give you the playoff, but WSDL is essential and intermediate technology that provides the missing link between the two. It is a critical technology in its own right, even though it does not deserve its own chapter separate from UDDI. Web services building block SOAP. SOAP uses namespace to create self-describing message. Therefore, it should be possible for SOAP message to provide the information needed to access the content of a message. However, there is no way to determine the name and type of each function parameters using SOAP. So you are stuck in catch 22. There is no way to call the function with a SOAP message unless you already know about the function. In the early days of SOAP, as well as its precursor XML, RPC, several languages sprang up to the address this missing piece of SOAP puzzles, including web service method, web interface definition language, Microsoft SOAP contract language, that is SCL, and discovery of web services, DISCO, and IBM's network accessible service specification language, that is NASSL. Then the UDDI consortium of dozens of companies headed up by IBM, Microsoft and Ariba, began the process of hammering out the UDDI specification. It was really apparent that there needed to be one language for describing web services. Thus, WSDL was born. So basically, student, this is the history and the background image of WSDL, how it was born, then what are the companies that are included for this language, and so on. Public UDDI registries are hosted by operator nodes, which are companies such as Microsoft and IBM that have committed to running public UDDI nodes. The public registry system is loosely modeled after the domain name service (DSN) system, in that there are multiple registers responsible for synchronizing their data with each other. Currently, each public UDDI node synchronizes with the other daily, but more frequent schedule is in the works. Likewise, as in the case with DNS system, UDDI registries are not depositories of data, rather in their roles as registries. They simply provide information on how to find and invoke web services. Just as the DSN system provides for unique to women names, UDDI relies on global unique identifier, which are URN, that uniquely identify the resource in each registry. There are three levels of information available in each UDDI registry, which corresponds roughly to the feature of phone book. First one is white page. These pages provide listing of companies that can be queried by name, text, description, contact information and known identifier like done and spreadsheet DUNS member. Yellow page. This page allows for the looking up the companies by the kind of services they offer, organized into established business categories, industry codes, location and product services. These categories are organized into taxonomies. Last one, we have green pages. This page provides information about how to interact with companies' web services by exposing service description and binding information. The standard technologies for implementing the web services. First one, we have transports. Beat the Block Extensible Exchange Protocol is a framework for building application protocols. It has been standardized by IETF and it does for Internet Protocol what XML has done for Data Block Extensible Exchange Protocol. Messaging. These messaging standards and specifications are intended to give a framework for exchanging information in the decentralized distribution environment. Description and discovery. Web services are meaningful only if potential users may find information sufficient to permit their execution. The focus of this specification and standards in the definition of a set of services supporting to description and discovery of businesses, organization and other web providers. Like we have WSDL 1.1, 1.2, 2.0 and so on. And last one, we have security. Using this security specification, application can engage in secure communication design to work with general web service framework. Web services management is defined as a set of capabilities for discovering the existence, availability, health, performance, usage, as well as control and configuration of web service. Within the web service architecture, as web service become privatized and critical to business operations, the task of managing and implementing them in imperative to the success of business operation services to distributed management. The next topic we have, that is web service communication model. Web service is an XML based framework introduced by World Wide Web Consortium, that is W3C, that defines a standard for achieving smooth communication among discrete application systems. Web services is based on the exchange of messages or documents in XML over standard internet protocol such as Simple Object Access Protocol, WSDL, and Universal Description, Discovery and Integration. The process followed in developing web services application is this research. A service provider who is an application developer that uses one of different web service development technique write the code of the service in a certain programming language such as Java or C#, depending on the platform of the development technique. Use the development technique to auto-generate the WSDL document corresponding to operation provided by the services. A service provider can then optionally publish the auto-generator WSDL by the used development technique into a service tree such as UDDL. A service request who is another application developer that wants to generate an web service built by provider in this application searches for WSDL description with operation that satisfy the requirement of the application. Basic steps of implementing web services. Web services enable application to interact with one another over the web in platform neutral language independent environment. In a typical web service scenario, a business application sends a request to service at a given URL by using the HTTP protocol. The service request then processes it and returns a response. You can incorporate calls to external web services in application developed in Oracle Application Express. Web services in Oracle Application Express are based on SOAP, World Wide Web Consortium, that is W3C, standard protocol for sending and receiving request and response across the internet. SOAP messages can be sent back and forth between a service provider and service user in SOAP envelopes. Web services are called from within an Oracle Application Express application by the UDDI registry and WSDL URL. So students, this is the end of chapter number 5, Introduction to Web Services. A quick recap what we did in this entire chapter. We have started with introduction of that is web services. In this we have seen what are the benefits and advantages of web services. Then we have seen the web services challenges. We have seen architecture of web services. We have seen web services characteristics. We have seen core building block of web services. Again we have seen the different levels of web services. Then we have seen the standard technology for implementation the web services. After that we have seen what is web service communication model, basic steps for implementing web services. So this is the end of chapter number 5. Students, thank you.